Hey guys, it's Zero. Today I'm bringing you a comprehensive competitive guide on Scizor. Fun fact, Scizor is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and I actually mained Scizor in Pokemon Tournament for the short amount of time that I played that game. He was a really fun zoner, so... Anyway, back to it. I got 5 sets for Scizor today. The first 2 sets are going to pertain to console players for anyone who's playing on the ranked ladders, those being 3v3 and the VGC doubles rules. So yeah, let's just dive right into those. The first set is the 3v3 singles set. I am running Jolly, max speed, max attack with a life orb, and I'm also running Technician. Technician doesn't help you as much in this set outside of dual wing beat. However, you can run Bullet Punch in this slot if you want. I think Scizor's best role is mainly, very offensive as far as 3v3 singles. So I like the life orb and the power of Iron Head. But if you need a little priority on your team, then you could definitely put Bullet Punch in there. So as far as Dynamax moves, you'll get a nice stab, max steel spike. The dual wing beat will give you an airstream, which is a speed boost, and that helps you outspeed Pokemon at a base 121, I believe. Let me check my notes. Yep, up to 121. So that's pretty fast. That outspeeds things like Cinderace, and obviously these are Pokemon that don't have a choice scarf. So Night Slash is pretty nice for Pokemon like Metagross. And then Superpower, that helps give you... You don't have to run Superpower if you don't want. You can run Brick Break here if you want to break some screens from G-Max Resonance Lapras. But Superpower just gives you a nice Max Knuckle, help you boost your attack, and can be a nice wall breaker slash, really strong option against things that are weak to fighting type moves. So yeah, that's well, let's take a look over here on Pikalytics, and we'll kind of look at the top threats in the 3v3 singles. Now, as far as top threats for singles, the most used Pokemon are Zapdos and Cinderace. Not every Zapdos is running Heat Wave, but I believe it is a very, it's on 65% of Pokemon. So yeah, that's something you do have to watch out for. Obviously, Scizor being 4 times weak to fire is not going to survive something like that. Cinderace, number 2. Scizor invites these 2 Pokemon in, so keep that in mind. If you're going to run Scizor and your opponent sees them on Team Preview, they're very likely going to bring one of these 2 to counter Scizor, because Scizor is a really strong threat if he's left unchecked. Mimikyu, he handles pretty well with the combination of dual wing beat and bullet punch, so I think you won't have too much trouble with Mimikyu. You can deal decent damage to Tapu Fini. Landorus, just gotta watch out for the Intimidates. He handles Nihilego pretty well. He handles the Urshifus, Rillaboom. So yeah, I think a powerful user of rock type moves might be a great partner for Scizor when it comes to singles. So the next set that I want to show off is for VGC. It is almost the same thing, except I have Protect on there. I've got Iron Head, Dual Wing Beat, and Night Slash. Dual Wing Beat obviously giving yourself and your team a speed boost. As far as Night Slash goes, you can run Brick Break or Superpower again if you want more Max Knuckles, if you are planning on running him against some really strong physical offense. But that's just kind of a season to taste thing. Night Slash helps you deal with things like Metagross. If we go back to Pikalytics here a second, and we look at the top threats in doubles, you're going to see Urshifu, Rillaboom, which he handles pretty well. Incineroar, it's really hard to handle Incineroar after an Intimidate. Even Superpower I don't think is enough after Intimidate. Tapu Fini, obviously you can deal some good damage. Regieleki, Landorus, watch out for. Glastrier, hard to 1-hit KO Glastrier. One thing that I found with Scizor when I was running calcs was that he came up just short of 1-hit KOing or 2-hit KOing Pokemon with the spread that I have. But I think it's really important for him to have Airstream and to boost himself faster than these Pokemon. Even with a Life Orb, he came up kind of short of these 1-hit and 2-hit KOs. I think partnering him with a Helping Hand user would really, really benefit him if you're looking to pick up clean 1-hit and 2-hit KOs on a lot of really potent threats. In my opinion, that would be the best way to run him. So yeah, that's what I got for the VGC variants. Just watch out for those fire types. So now for Smogon singles. He's currently in the UU tier, and I think that this set right here is his best set. I tested the next 3 sets on Showdown against Gym Leader Justin, and I'll have some footage of that stuff sprinkled throughout this video. I found this set to have the most success. It's Swords Dance, Bullet Punch, Dual Wing Beat, and Knockoff. Obviously, again, the Technician boost for Dual Wing Beat and Bullet Punch. If you don't know how Technician works by now, Technician increases the power of moves under a 60 base by 50%. So Bullet Punch gets increased to a base 60, and then you add the stab on top of it. I think Dual Wing Beat is 40 per hit, which makes it 60 per hit, so 120 base. And then obviously you got Knockoff, 120 base power when the opponent is holding an item, and Swords Dance. Now the reason for Salac Berry is, like I said earlier, when Scizor gets a +1 in speed, he outspeeds 121 base Pokemon. And if we switch over here to Smogon and we check out the UU tier, 121, he outspeeds every Pokemon in the tier naturally, not Scarfed, except Zero Aura. And that can be really deadly if he gets a Swords Dance up and a +2. So I'm just going to rattle off a couple of calculations that I made while I was putting this together. So at +2, 134 minimum percent to the standard Alakazam, 105 minimum Dual Wing Beat to Amoonguss, 101 hit KO plus Stealth Rocks onto Azelf. He cleanly 2-hit KOs max HP Azumarill, 48% minimum to physically defensive Chansey. That's with Dual Wing Beat. If you tech Superpower, for whatever reason, that's a clean 1-hit KO. 128 to a max HP Conkeldurr minimum with Dual Wing Beat. 87% to a max HP Crawdaunt with Dual Wing Beat. 90% minimum to physically defensive Grimmsnarl. Gyarados is one of those Pokemon that I think you don't really want to be in on, and we'll talk about how to get around him later. 89% minimum to physically defensive Hatterene. You got to watch out because these are usually teching Mystical Fire, but if you decide to do Adamant, then that's a clean 1-hit KO. 172% minimum to Dual Wing Beat Specs Keldeo. 94% Dual Wing Beat minimum to defensive Como. 106% Bullet Punch to Specs Kyurem. He also 1-hit KOs Lycanroc, Mamoswine, Nihilego, Ninetales, Tapu Bulu, and Terrakion with Bullet Punch. He cleanly 2-hit KOs physically defensive Primarina with Bullet Punch. And then he 1-hit KOs Mew and Victini at +2 with Knockoff. And then he cleanly 1-hit KOs with Dual Wing Beat Salamence plus Stealth Rock, Slowking plus Stealth Rock, physically defensive Tangrowth when he comes in on Stealth Rock, Tentacruel when he comes in on Stealth Rock, and Moltres, Galarian Moltres when he comes in on Stealth Rock. So if you couple that +2 power and the speed boost of the Salac Berry, this Pokemon can do so much damage. It is unbelievable what he can do when he's left unchecked. So like I said, in my opinion, it's his best set in UU right now, but we will get talking to another set. So the next one I have is a Choice Band Scizor. I did run this. Well, first I'll go over the moves. I got Bullet Punch, Dual Wing Beat, Knockoff, and U-Turn. U-Turn's really nice because Scizor invites in a lot of his counters. If you bring Scizor in on something safely and then you suspect that a counter is coming in, it's really easy to just click that U-Turn button, get massive damage, and then you can switch into one of your other Pokemon. So say a Fire type decides to switch in, you do U-Turn, it's resisted, but you still get residual chip, and then you can go to your Water type or your Ground type or whatever it happens to be, whatever the counter is. I did run Iron Head over Bullet Punch, but it's best supported if you run a Sticky Web team. If you run Adamant and you are on with Sticky Web support and you're Adamant, you will still be slower than Pokemon with a base of 106 speed. So you kind of want to run Jolly if you want to run Iron Head. However, if you decide that you want to run Adamant and just run a bulky set with max HP like I have here, you can just tech Bullet Punch and you won't have to worry about speed. It's easier to pull off. I found the sticky web setup to be a little harder to pull off because you got to play against common defoggers, which include things like Thundurus and Landorus, both of those in the Therian forms. And then like Rotom Heat, you don't want to be in on Rotom Heat for any reason, unless you're running faster than it. But Rotom Heat is immune to sticky web anyway, so I found the sticky web setup to be a little harder. Therefore, I would recommend Adamant with Bullet Punch, but that's kind of just a season to taste thing. If you've got the support to run the sticky web team or a Jolly and Ironhead, then by all means, I think you should go for it. The last set I'm going to talk about is a little Gadget Scizor. So this one, as far as the EVs go, I have him as a physically defensive with an impish nature. You can run this especially defensive too. I just think he's better physically, and I like his resistances a little bit better. But if your team needs a nice little special wall, Scizor can do that to an extent. I have Bullet Punch, U-turn. Like I said, he invites his counters in. And I have Brick Break as a utility move, and this is to break screens because Grimmsnarl is really popular. If you feel like you don't need that, you can run Knockoff. If you have Knockoff on your team already, you know, say you've got him paired with a Knockoff Conkeldurr, then maybe Brick Break is the way to go to break those screens. A lot of Pokemon in this format get access to Knockoff, so it can be used if you want. If not, I like Brick Break. And you can, honestly, you can tech any sort of move here. And then I have Roost and Leftovers. A nice bulky Scizor who just kind of pivots in and, you know, U-turns out on his counters, so you can draw things in and then counter them that way. My first couple games with this Scizor didn't go super well, but after I used it a little bit, I actually ended up really liking this Scizor. It was really nice. I just stick him on a nice offensive team, and he's a nice little bulky pivot. Unfortunately, he kind of gets outclassed by the Regenerator Pokemon, like Slowking and things of that nature. Regenerator, physically defensive Tangrowth with a Rocky Helmet. You could put Rocky Helmet on this too, but then you lose the passive recovery of Leftovers, which, you know, if you don't need that on your team, then I'd say just go for it. But you could also run, if you want to take Roost off, you could put Knockoff and put in the Assault Vest to make him physically defensive and then give him a special defense boost on the other side. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the vid. I'm really looking forward to doing more of these, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. I'm thinking about doing a Mewtwo guide soon, but like I said, just leave us a comment. We really want to know what you guys want to see. We want to make content that you guys want to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed this guide as much as I enjoyed making it. So have a good day, guys.